Hello lovely, so in today's video we'll be making this high-low style, flay style. And for this we are going to be cutting our flay first, before cutting our bodies, so that we don't want to have your bodies affecting the flay cutting, if you know what I mean. Because of the folding and how it's always cool when the cutting of the flay. So for this I've folded my fabric into four. As you can see, I folded the first one triangular form, and then I folded it over like this to get a square. And whatever you're going to be folding, make sure you have enough for your waist measurements, and then for the length of the flay you are going to check it for this side and also check it for this side. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. So we are going to go ahead and mark our waist measurements. And for my waist is 27. Remember, you're going to consider your zipper allowance. So I am going to be marking at 4 for now. If it's not enough, I can increase it to a higher number. So I have about 7 inches here. Then 7 divided times 4 is about 28 inches. So I think this is enough for my waist measurement plus my zipper. So I'm going to go ahead and mark the length of my flay, and the length I am marking at 15 inches plus 1 inch allowance, that's 16 inches. So I'm going to mark that 16 inches all round. Remember, from this waist 4 inches that we marked earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the line so that you guys can see the marking. So this is our waist measurement. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, but I'm not cutting the waist area because we are going to still readjust this because of the high and the low style that is in it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So I just remembered that I did not explain to you guys how I got about this 16 inches that I just marked. So for this 16 inches that I marked here, what I have, the total of my measurement is 20 inches. And you know, is a high-low style. That means the front is going to be the back is going to be lower than the front. So the total measurement is 20 inches, but I marked at 16. The reason at 15, 1 inch is for joining. So the reason for marking at 15 is so that when I am done marking this, and I'm going to make it in such a way then that the front is longer than the back, before marking that, I'll take 10 inches. I remember this is going to have gathers here, so I'm going to take 5 inches from this 15 inches from the front and add it to the back. So the back is going to have 15 inches, while the is going to have 20 inches, while the front is going to have 10 inches. I don't know if you guys understand what I just explained. So I have 15 inches here. So my total measurement is 20 inches, but the reason for marking this 15 is so that I'll remove 5 inches from the front and add it to the back, so the back will be 20 and the front will be 10. By the time we add our gathers, the front will be 15 and the back will be 25, right? Yes, 25 inches. I hope you guys understand it. And open this up so that we can do the low and the back. And this is the opening. I'm going to go ahead and fold it this way, and then I'll measure this to see if I have about the front is going to be 10 inches plus 1 inch allowance for joining, that's 11 inches. Then remember, we have 4 inches for our waist measurement. That's the one we use to mark our waist. So we are going to add it. We have about 14 inches. So I just folded it at 14. So I'm going to go ahead and remark my waistline here. So I'm going to go ahead and remark my waist measurement here so that we can cut it out to have that front and the to have the front shorter than the back. So I'm marking at 4 inches, 4.5 instead of 4 inches. I just decided to increase it a little bit with the allowance that I added. So I just added it a little bit because I want to place it into I want to place it into waistline. In case there's anything for adjustment, I can easily adjust it. So this is what we have. Look at it. So this is the front and this is the back. So we're going to open up here as the zipper allowance. This is where the zip is going to sit, and this is our front. By the time we add our gathers, it will be longer. If you have any question on this, please comment in the comments below. But I believe I explained it as much as I can, or I believe as much as I can. If you have any question, please comment below, or watch this video over again so you understand this one. So this is after I was done cutting and cut our bodies and then our gather, and we are going to go into the sewing tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and cut our bodies, and for the bodies my fabric is folded into 4. So I made the first fold and then I fold over again, and this is our zipper allowance. I have extra here for our zipper allowance. So this is our zipper allowance. I'll be cutting the back and the front bodies together, and my measurement is going to be starting from the center front. That's the first folding. That's our center front, and from there, so I'll mark out the label on the Ankara fabric, and from the center front I'm going to go ahead and take my shoulder measurement, which is 6 inches. I'll be adding ½ inch allowance for joining. Then I'm going to go ahead by that, go down by the 6 inches for my armhole, or let me go ahead by 6.5 inches for my armhole depth, because I do not want it to be fitted at the armhole. That's why I'm going back down by 6.5. So the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my neckline, and my neckline, remember, is going to start from the center front. My neckline for the width is 2 inches, and from the depth, for the depth is 3 inches, and then I'll make a curve there for a round neck. And then for my back measurement, for my back neckline, I'm going down by 1 inch, and then I'll connect it to this front one. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my bodies, and okay, before that I'm just connecting the shoulder line, marking it straight. Let's mark our shoulder slope. I almost forget, so I'm going to mark it, join it to the neckline. I can't find my ruler, that's why I'm using my hand. If you have your ruler, please go ahead and use it. For my bust measurement, marking, and then I'll add 1.5 inches for the allowance. You can add as much as you can. Then for my half length is 12 inches. Remember, our measurement is starting where we marked our shoulder line, that's away from the label. Then I'm going to go ahead and insert my waist measurement, which is 6.5. that's when divided by 4, my waist divided by 4. Then I'll connect the line here, and then make curve for my armhole. You can go ahead and deduct ½ inch from the front armhole before cutting it out, or after cutting it out, then you can separate it from the back one, and then go in by ½ inch at the armhole, connect it to this shoulder line, and then curve it to this place. I don't know if you're going to understand what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. I'm going to cut the back neckline first, separate it from the front before cutting the front. Do not make a mistake of cutting the two together. So I went ahead to cut my fabric into 2. I duplicated it. If you have your lining, please go ahead and make use of a lining on this, but for me I'm going to be using my fabric as my lining. So I'll place them facing front, and then I'll stitch at the neckline and then at the armhole. If you're going to attach sleeve to yours, please go ahead and do so, and there's no need stitching at the armhole. If you're going to be attaching sleeve, just stitch only at the neckline and leave the armhole open. So this is the fabric I cut out for the gathers on the tip of the flame. I have 8 inches here, so I have 8 inches. I'm going to go ahead and fold this, that's more like hemming it. I'm going to go ahead and stitch this all around to the end, and this is the flame. So after hemming it, what I'm going to do is to turn it and face front, facing front. Then I'll first of all stitch the zipper allowance, and then I'll start making little pleats. This place depends on how much fabric you want to attach at the bottom. If you want it scanty or full, I'll attach it all around. So I've gone ahead to stitch the neckline and the armhole. The next thing I'm going to do is to notch it before turning it inside out. Okay, I've gone ahead to iron it, to lay it flat. Remember what I told you guys about ironing? If you watched that video, you must have known this by now. So the next thing I'm going to do is to plait this front facing front, and then I'm going to go ahead and stitch the shoulders. When I'm done with that, I'm going to, sorry, it's supposed to be like this. When I'm done with stitching the shoulders, I'm going to go ahead and stitch this side with my allowance. You remember we added 1.5 inches allowance, so I'm going to be stitching at 1.5, or you can as well remeasure it before you stitch. Okay, this is the flay. I am done with the stitching of the gather or the plating, whichever you want to do, and I plaited mine with small plaits, just like you guys can see it now. So this is it. After I was done, and this is my bodice. I am done with it as well. I've stitched down this seam side, the shoulders. So this is it. So I'm going to open up this bodice now, and then place this my waistline, my flay waistline, front facing front onto it, and then stitch it from one end to the other. While stitching, if there is any excess, what you do is to plait it into the bodice, so that if there is any adjustment, you can see something to adjust it. You can as well plait it at the seam line. That's where I normally plait mine. So I'll go ahead and do it. So this is it after I was done attaching it to the bodice. If you haven't subscribed to my channel at this moment, please do well to hit on the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to share my videos too. So the next thing I'm going to do is to hold in the zipper allowance, hold it in, and then attach my zip. And this is it after I was done fixing my zip. So it's looking so beautiful. So this is the front and this is the back. See how long it is. I'm going to go ahead and serge all these rough edges, and that's all for this style. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you do. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed to my channel, and don't forget to share my videos to family and friends. And I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.